All right. Thanks everyone for being here tonight again. Sorry for the change of plans from last week. I had a scheduling conflict that popped up, so I just had to move it to tonight. But that hopefully shouldn't happen in the future. We're going to discuss some maybe a potential like frequency change to our meetings now that we're a little bit more official and incorporated, but we can definitely get to that tonight. I just wanted to start off just by opening up the meeting and going through a quick overview of how our steering committee meeting went on 1/28/2024. So last week, last Sunday. We officially filed the articles of incorporation like we had spoken about on our last meeting. And this was followed then by our steering committee meeting that we had on last Sunday, the 28th, where we appointed temporary board members that we'll talk about tonight too, and then go from there. So let me just share my screen and we can kind of go through that. So our temporary board members, if you all can see my screen, and I can zoom in too, so it's a little bit easier. We have president of the board, Leslie. The VP is Georgia, the secretary and treasurer, who very kindly volunteered to do both of those jobs, is Justin. And we have two regular board members, Anthony and Donna. And I am filling in the role of executive director. So a couple of things. So these are just temporary board member positions. When we get through this entire incorporation process and securing the nonprofit status, in like the stuff we just did previously, like the creation of the bank account, we will open this up at our first official kickoff meeting in July and August 2024, where we will take actual nominations for full board members, which will then be voted on by the entire membership. So that is something that we plan to have. We will also be working on in the coming months the establishment of a membership base, and we hope to have that complete in the next few months. Adoption of bylaws. So we did adopt a set of our bylaws, and these are right here. Sorry, I'm just letting in Diane. And these are available. I'm going to put this link in the chat real quick for everyone. Right here. So I've put all of this stuff on a Google Drive, and you should be able to access them from just by clicking the link that I'm about to send you all. And that is our bylaws. All of this stuff will hopefully also be published on our website when we get that going as well, which I'm sure Justin will talk about coming up. So, great. Let me pull back up the bylaws. Here we go. I can zoom in there. They are fairly standard. We drafted them with the help of Georgia, who is a lawyer, which is excellent, and super thankful for all of her help in getting that stuff together, and everybody else in the steering committee for getting that together. We have board of directors responsibilities laid out, just a few standard election things, nominations, definitions of quorums, voting, vacancies in any board members, qualifications, disqualifications of any board members, termination, just fairly standard bylaw adoptions, membership. So we encourage everybody to just take a look, to read through them. We did actually put in a procedure by which the bylaws can be amended by a majority of the board of directors present at a meeting at which a quorum is present. So any strong thoughts or feelings, we also pumped these drafts out to the group and asked for input at times as well in the last few months. So, but if you have anything that comes to mind now, please feel free to email and to start a potential discussion on something. So. Great. And also, we went through and approved the creation of a bank account, which I believe Justin created this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, this past week I was able to get everything squared away with Sabattus Regional Credit Union. So we have a bank account there in the name of the Sabattus Pond Watershed Group. And that coincides with a post office box where we can also receive mail directly for the organization.
Awesome. Excellent.
What's the box number, Justin?
The box number is 21.
All right. We also created a tax ID too. Thank you again, Justin, for taking care of that. And our next steps really just incorporate securing the federal nonprofit status, which is quite cumbersome. Justin and Georgia are working hard to get all of that sorted out, and we certainly do appreciate the work that they're putting in to do that. Before I move on from anything of the overview from our steering committee, Justin or Leslie, do you have anything you'd like to add from that?
Yeah, sorry, Leslie's not here. She had to deal with a sick kid to quick care. So it's just me. No, I mean, I think you hit it all, and I know these are recorded, so hopefully everybody that watches this, and I know Nick touched on it, so I just want to touch on it again. These are temporary positions. We are not running the show. We just are the group that kind of took the reins to form this. We open it up to anybody who wants to be a part of this. Kind of where Nick had talked about, we are incorporated with the state of Maine. I am taking some online classes through the IRS specific to the nonprofit status 501c3, which is very interesting to say the least. I wanted to take those classes as the interim secretary treasurer just to know what I was getting myself into before we filed for this. I'm hoping to finish that up probably within the next week or so and get that sent out. It can take up for 90 days to get your determination letter from the federal government stating that you have achieved 501c3 status. Why this is important is it allows us to go for grants. I know Nick talked to the steering committee. He has a bunch of grants that we can apply for money for our group. A lot of those grants we can't get unless we are nonprofit status. So that's kind of why we're working towards that. And it's a pretty daunting task to read IRS tax code. And anybody who watches this who's a CPA and knows all that stuff, you're my hero because it's amazing.
Try reading the FARs and aviation. It's all government paper.
Oh man, and how they contradict themselves in the same tax pamphlet is really intriguing to me, and it makes me wonder how anything ever gets done.
Well, between that and sending you to another site, and then the other site sends you to another site, the other site sends you to another site, and the last site sends you back to the first one.
Yeah. And just what Nick touched about quickly with a lot of this documentation, he mentioned a website. So part of one of the other tasks I want to accomplish is I have a friend who is a web developer, designer, coder, Silicon Valley person. They had mentioned helping me set up a website for our group that can be easily found, and we'll have all this information located there. Will be very interactive. It's a work in progress. We'll grow it eventually. But that's the plan to hopefully get that done on the same timeline of the nonprofit.
Excellent. Thank you, Justin. Great. We're moving along. The monitoring program still being worked on. We had just talked about it extensively. I believe the meeting on the 24th, where I showed that spreadsheet in showed that spreadsheet that I had created. That is still a work in progress. We are moving towards it. There is a Lake Stewards of Maine virtual seminar, I guess, talking about some of these things tomorrow that I plan to attend. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more direction. I am also still working with a couple of colleagues from graduate school and from professional contacts that I've made that are helping me out with the more technical aspect of this monitoring program. You know, as I've said before, I consider myself more of a social scientist than a physical or natural scientist type. You know, I definitely do. I'm very familiar with, you know, the confines of the pond and the watershed, simply through the research that I've had to do. But, you know, there are certainly some things that are way outside my purview. So I think just getting access to the right people who do have that knowledge to try to speed up this process is definitely where I'm trying to focus. And so we definitely still would like to have something in place for this coming spring, and still working on a timeline now. But as of right now, it is still in process. I really do hope to have like a very big update before the end of February. There are just like you know, a lot of irons in the fire regarding questions and like funding and the cost of these things. I do, you know, if anything does, if anything, I really do hope to at least establish a monitoring program with what we do have available at the time. You know, this is the first part, so you know, it won't necessarily be the absolute golden standard for the like wide variety of tests that we might be able to monitor for, but it's just about laying that foundation work, which is important, and then the rest can come as well as we become more established, have access to more funding, and work out some of these processes. So definitely appreciate everybody out there who is helping and assisting, you know, everybody engaging and watching these meetings, and everybody sending me messages and emails. You know, I think it just goes to show that the interest for something like this is out there. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been helping and who is helping and who is supporting this. So we do have the meeting minutes from our previous steering committee meeting. That necessarily wasn't an official like one of ours. I mean, excuse me, it certainly was an official meeting. It just was not one with the overall board. It was simply just a steering committee. I do have those if anybody would like a copy of them to view them. So, and I can put them in the chat as well. And we are all about transparency here, so we think that that is a huge, important aspect of this. All right. So a couple of comments from me. Sorry, that should have been right here. Dam Commission meeting tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. In person at the Walestown office. Is that still a go, Lou?
As far as I know.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So do you have any idea what you guys are discussing, the RFPs or the bids that you put out? Sorry.
Well, there's been one bid that we received. Hopefully the other ones come in.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be discussing that. And then also how we're going to deal with the upcoming town meetings.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell people what's going on. And we were hoping to make some type of pamphlet to distribute at each town hall, just for informational purposes. So find out tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, question?
Yeah, this is for Lou. Do you guys have copies of the design that you sent out for bids to be awarded that can be shown to the public prior to town meetings?
Copy of the design?
Yeah, like the design or the plans for the rebuild of the dam, and what that looks like and all of that. I didn't know if you guys had access to distribute that to community members before the town meetings where you're going to ask for the money for the project.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe Dan would know. I don't know what to tell you there.
Okay, yeah, just curious is all.
Justin, we can also reach out to JD Anderson. the secretary of the dam commission. So we can try to see if we can get a copy of those bids. They should be public record, I believe. Yeah, or the RFP for it. Correct.
Yeah, I would think so. And I can ask, I plan on being attending the meeting tomorrow night. I can ask as well if there's copies of the design and the RFP and stuff that came in.
Perfect. All right, my next thing is just a thing for Justin. I know you had talked about scanning some of those documents over. Do you have, and just a copy is completely fine. I just wanted to try to keep them all in one place. So when I do start filling out grant information, I just have it all available. Is there any way that you can email those to me at some point in the coming weeks?
Yes, I will get that done to you within the week. I will send you, I can give you the copy of our EIN number, the articles of incorporation that were actually stamped by the state. I can scan those documents and get those to you as well.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. And maybe since just we don't, maybe this is just a question to pose tonight. We did discuss it a little bit, I believe, Justin, at the steering committee meeting, but just an adjustment of the meeting frequency. So we have typically done, whenever possible, whenever we could, weekly meetings, I believe since June, early June, into this new year. So, the frequency of that, there's a lot more deliverables that take a lot more time in between then. So maybe we should have a discussion, possibly next meeting in 2 weeks after the dam commission meeting, about really finalizing like if we want to change to a monthly or bi-weekly schedule. So everybody watching after the fact, just keep that in mind, and that is something that we will hopefully be able to decide upon next meeting. So if you have any thoughts or concerns about the adjustment of that, send them my way, and we can certainly discuss or bring them up at that next meeting. And honestly, that is all I have for now. We still have these two big things, the solar panel farm development and the clear cut on Sabattus Mountain that we are still actively working with. Next meeting, I will have a more up-to-date, I guess I keep saying update, but a more relevant update on like the status of those things. At our steering committee meeting, we've talked about a couple methods to try and navigate some of this more complicated water. There is aspects of the solar panel farm development and the company that's associated with that are being reviewed by the Maine DP. Getting in contact with them, learning about any potential review sessions. And of course, like the clear cutting of Sabattus Mountain plans to engage planning commissions of the 3 communities around the pond and things like that. So, as we have more steering committee meetings and, discuss the information there at these general meetings, we hope to much more clearly define paths forward. Donna today, through an email exchange, brought up some really excellent points about clearly defining goals and objectives, and how we might potentially get there. So I definitely think it's a priority moving forward, and really, as we're starting to finally get into this, and really kind of like figuring out or laying down an actual pathway of how we achieve the things that we want to achieve. So just more food for thought, but as this stuff comes together, we hope to have more information on that. So awesome. Any questions, comments, concerns about anything else that's going on?
Well, other than that clear cutting I talked to you earlier,
Yeah.
that was new to me.
Yeah, this is the photo that I received through text today with Tom Jordan. He had sent me this. I mean, as you can see, it's
Pretty close.
pretty close. And hold on, I can pull up a picture from this summer.
Is that possibly one of the solar farms they're talking about?
I don't believe so. And somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is just the actual just clear cutting or the logging,
Just
sorry.
harvesting?
Yeah.
That is Sabattus Mountain. So that is from Tom and Lynn's place looking across the lake to Sabattus Mountain. So that's just a kind of a wide angle view of the aerial drone shots that I had submitted a few weeks ago. But I'm curious, Lou, where you said they're cutting on the Sabattus Green line?
Yeah, right on the Sawyer Road. That's brand new, happened this week
Interesting.
or last week.
Said the Wales Green line.
No, green Sabattus. Go
Oh.
down the southern part of the lake.
Yeah.
How
I did
close
not
in
know about
proximity
that.
is that to the water, Lou?
Yeah.
Well, it almost connects to where the dam comes out. You know, there's a little river behind the dam. Okay, where are we there? Elm Street. Well, this Sawyer Road. So yeah, right where your pointer is to the left of that.
So
Right
over
from-
this way.
Yeah, see the town line is pretty much where Elm Street is,
Yeah.
and you go down from there, like toward the school.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what saying the line is. So you're saying it's literally over here?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's quite extensive. It's ugly.
Wow. Yeah. Where's
And
the
are they?
topography?
We don't know what they're. So that'd be the town of Sabattus. We don't know what they're clearing that for.
Don't know. That is Sabattus, right over the line.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the topography.
But the stream that runs out from the dam connects to. There's a little water behind there.
There's water behind here, you said?
Well, where the dam comes out, you know, from Granite, it right by the bridge, you know, where the Legion,
Yeah.
it
Yes.
almost goes down to there.
Wow.
So, you know, there's definitely going to be some runoff there.
So you're saying it literally goes down behind the school too?
Well, I don't know how far it goes, but
Yeah.
it has to impact the water.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's right in there. Yep, right there.
Okay.
Isn't that on the backside of the watershed?
Technically, I do not believe it's part of it, but let me pull up a map real quick.
Seems like there's a lot of high ground between there and the lake.
Sorry, I have a better detailed map, but on first glance, it does not seem like it's connected.
Hmm.
But certainly,
Doesn't make it right.
no, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, that's certainly not the point of me looking it up, but there's that waterway that they're saying. Okay. I mean, it's fairly close. I mean, that is not a scale map, I would say, or a very detailed map that I just showed. So I am going to do this. Take a little screen cut. and I'm going to put it into our documents. Thanks, Lou. If anybody does have pictures of that, I would very much appreciate it being sent to me or anyone else, just so I can catalog that. And that does seem like it's in Sabattus for sure.
Nick, I've just gone through the last few months of I'm back to June on planning board minutes for the town of Sabattus, and I don't see anything in that area. They're talking about a subdivision off of Ballpark Road, which is by the middle school, and then there's another subdivision on Lisbon Road. But I'm not seeing anything on Sawyer Road for anything from the planning board. I just finished reading June. I'm back into May now. I don't see anything
Okay.
for that. And the only thing I've that they keep talking about is the Sabattus Crossing, which I think is the new plaza where Dunkin' Donuts is, which is not where that clear cutting is at all.
Yeah. Okay. We will certainly look into that further. Thanks, Lou, for bringing that to our attention.
I mean, it may go as far as No Name Pond Road. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It would have had to have been approved by the Sabattus Planning Board, though, correct? Am I correct in saying that? Maybe. No.
Well, yeah, if they're clear cutting, they would have had to issue a permit for the cutting. And that should actually, wherever their main entrance is for their logging equipment, that should be posted somewhere in plain view, because that's what they had to do on Sabattus Mountain at the town line, where they cut in that road and staged all their equipment. They had their permit from the state on a tree there for people to see. So there should be something wherever their kind of main base of operation is, where they're staging their equipment for some sort of permit from the state for that. So have to drive by slow and see if you can see anything on a tree, I guess. But do you know what the company is, Lou? Is it the same company that did the side of the lake?
I don't know. I saw some heavy equipment inside, but I couldn't tell.
Okay. All right. We will hopefully try to get some more information on that. Thanks, Lou. Okay. Any other topics up for discussion, questions, concerns?
We'll be done 5-10 minutes.
I'm sorry, Nick, what did you ask?
Any other questions, concerns, or anything else like that before we wrap up or close out? Or
the only other thing I'll just bring up for the group is I brought this to the steering committee's attention. Tacoma Lakes Association, which is probably the closest water association to us that we are doing here for Sabattus. I have a meeting on Thursday with their president. Just going to sit down with him, a little Q&A stuff, pick his brain about their organization. They've kind of been organized since probably 10 or 12 years now. So just talk to him, pick his brain a little bit. If anybody has any questions, if they want to email them to me or anything they'd like me to ask, I got probably 10 or 12 or so that I've come up with, mostly from going through the stuff for nonprofit organization with the 501c3 status, that sort of thing, tax liabilities, fundraising, money, donations, all that has to be reported to the IRS, which is why I'm taking those Superfund classes. So if anybody can think of anything the next couple of days they want me to ask, just go ahead and send me an email. Meeting with him on Thursday morning. The other thing for you, Nick,
Yep.
and Lou, which I thought was kind of interesting, kind of went down the rabbit hole today of dam replacement with draining a lake. I found something pretty close to home in New Hampshire. There's an organization called Goose Pond Lake Association. They actually have, it's a state controlled dam, but a dam on their pond that they drained the lake this fall, and they're starting construction on it. It's kind of interesting to see the pictures, read some news articles. They have a video on there about the dam replacement. The biggest thing was just my questions about how that's going to impact the lake and the water and when we drain it, and what that's going to be like when it fills back up. I know, Nick is the one with the scientific lingo, but we've talked about cyanobacteria and eutrophic and hypoxic and all this and that. What's actually surprising is they had a presentation from a state biologist about cyanobacteria, but on their website, it lists a water quality report from their lake. And they're the best. It starts with an O. I'm sure you know the name, Nick. Olatrophic or whatever it is. But like the best water quality that lake has. So I thought not really similar to us as far as the water quality and what's it going to do to the lake when they drain it down. But that's the only one I could find anywhere close to us with completely redoing a lake. Lou, quick question, or maybe Nick, you'll know this. How wide is our dam? Like how many feet across does that span? Do you guys know the Sleeper
Oh,
Dam?
boy.
I do not know off the top of my head. Let's see.
I don't know if I have a sketch, but
Because this Goose Pond Association with the dam that they're replacing, the thing's almost 1,300 feet long. It's ginormous, which is surprising because the lake's really small. It's a 625 acre lake. But it reminds me from the pictures I've seen a lot of this dam with just kind of holding it together at a higher elevated level.
well, you've been on it, right?
I have been on it. I mean, if I had to take a guess, I'd say maybe 150, 200 feet. Like that's what I would just say. But I didn't know if there was an actual measurement of actually how wide it was.
Yeah, if I could read this, I could tell you. I need
Hey, Justin,
Yes, Ken.
glasses. I need glasses and more light.
there's
But-
another lake in New Hampshire, Lake Horace in Ware, that was drained, probably 20 years ago. I don't know if they have any records or anything. The water quality was never really bad down there anyway, and I don't recall seeing any difference after they drained the lake. There might be some research. If you want to look at that, there might be some paperwork or records from when they drained the lake. Like I say, it was probably 15 or 20 years ago when they actually did it. It was
And you
Lake
said it was-
Horace.
Lake Horace?
Yeah, Horace. It's in Ware, Weare, New Hampshire.
Do you
We
know
had
if
a
they
place-
changed? Do you know if they changed the name, Ken? Because I just Googled it and it pops up Ware Reservoir now is what it's called. I'm not seeing anything for
Well,
Horace.
it is the Ware Reservoir.
Oh, okay.
It's the same one and the same. We had a place down there for over 30 years. Like I say, I don't remember exactly when it was. It's probably 15 or 20 years ago. They drained it completely. And I think it probably was for dam maintenance, but I don't recall hearing anything about what it was. They didn't really have a lake association very strong back at that time.
Awesome.
Yeah, well,
But there might be some state records.
for those of you on here who don't know or don't care, I am out of work injured, so I spend my days just going down rabbit holes on the internet about the lake and dams and all this and that stuff. So that's how I found this stuff today. So that can be my project tomorrow.
Well, hopefully your recovery is going to be good.
Just long. That's it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, well.
very sorry to hear that. I hope, speedy recovery. Just for this, I did on my screen the picture of the dam. I just did a rough thing with the scale down here at 20 feet. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it does turn to the side and kind of meet these trees over here.
Right.
Yeah, it does go into those trees a little bit.
And I think your estimate's pretty accurate, Justin, just based on those 20 feet. So I know you guys can't see my hands, but yeah, 120 feet, you said?
Yeah, I guessed 150, 200, somewhere in that ballpark.
I think it's less. I think it's closer to 120,
120. Oh, okay.
closer to that than 200. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the mouth is fairly small, honestly. Like, I honestly think it ends about like right here-ish, but okay, all right. All right. Anything else from anybody?
Sorry, I know I keep talking here. Now just remind me, Nick, our lake is very eutrophic, correct?
Correct.
So one of the things in my couch surfing today with the internet was trying to find out, if we drain the lake, what kind of impact that will have. And I know that we've discussed that before. I did find an article online by a wildlife biologist in Nebraska who said that lowering the lake levels and possibly draining a water body will set back the eutrophication, because when it dries up the sediments, they'll compact and the nutrients level decline. I don't know if there's any difference from, the climate of Nebraska to Maine, but that was kind of encouraging when I read that today, because I know that that's been a lot of discussion and angst among the group of, what's the lake going to look like when it comes back, and will that help if we drain that amount of water out of the lake? So I can send that article to you, Nick, and you can review it and distribute it if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Please send it my way. And Ken, I'm still reading that packet that you sent me too. So I just wanted to update you on that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just got a confirmation that the meeting is on tomorrow night, 6:30.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Lou. Great. And Justin, offline too, I can connect you to a bunch of some of the open source journal articles where I usually try to find a lot of my research. And most of the information that I found about dam removal is typically about how it impacts downstream, more so than necessarily right on a pond or a lake, or only a couple 100 yards upstream type of a thing. So
Okay, yeah, great.
awesome. All right, everyone, thanks so much for being here. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to send me an email. I'll post this meeting tonight, and I'll send out the link. I sincerely apologize for not seeing Donna emailing me saying she couldn't find the link, and I will connect with her outside of this. But thanks all. Hope you have a
When's
great
the
night.
next meeting?
Next meeting is probably going to be in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll send out a meeting reminder. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, not a problem. Great. Everyone have a great night. Thanks.
Good night.